You're listening to a 58 Ember production.
Hey everybody, it is Monday at 11:30 and I went to bed around 4 a.m. last night.
Why?
Okay. Are we just going to get into it? Why did I go to bed at 4 a.m. last night? I went to bed at 4 a.m. last night because we went to the thing at Hens and like it was super cute. And then we were there for a little bit and they were having like a small like Taylor Swift night. So we stayed for a little bit and then we went to Playhouse because of Show Tunes night. And Steph had never been to Show Tunes night. And I was like, girl, you got to experience this. And guess what? Like the same like men that were there when we went were there. And Olivia,
they gave the vibe that they go there.
Yes. There was that one guy that, you know, would keep going up and was like dancer and like everything. Like he was just dominating the room and you could tell like nobody loved that.
Oh.
Like everybody was just kind of like what? But it was fun. Like, you know, like the Show Tunes. We arrived at like the end of it. So it wasn't as like much fun. I feel like it's the first time. And also like I haven't been drinking as much on my medicine. Like I think it's just like doesn't vibe
mix.
well. Yeah. So, you know, I was just like chilling and vibing. And then Bob the drag queen showed up. I know. Steph was gooped and gagged, like sitting at the table right next to us.
Oh my God.
I don't know Bob as well, but like Steph was gooped and gagged. And then we stayed for Go-Go night, which was like almost like a mini like drag pageant show. And they have like 4 or 5 contestants from the audience come up and like they do a little question and answer thing. They do like they do a performance. It was fun. It was fun, but I am now exhausted.
Amazing. Hi there. Welcome to Completely Fucking Clueless podcast.
I know you guys. We didn't really get an official intro because I was just like, let me start this story. But hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Completely Fucking Clueless podcast. My name is Sarah Alice Liddy.
And my name is Audrey Jean Flowers, and we both use she, her pronouns.
That we do. Y'all, we're both tired.
I'm feeling low energy as fuck.
Low energy as fuck. And that's just the time of year. Like literally.
We were talking about it before this. Like, it's impressive how much every year it fucking surprises me of like how hard it gets when the days are super short and it's dark at 4:30 and how much I just like lose a will to fucking live.
Literally. I was saying this to you. I feel like I've officially been in my apartment, which we are at right now for a good month. And I love this apartment so much, but I think working from home a majority of the time, you can like really isolate yourself. And like a part of me is like, I wake up and then it's like I get right to work and then the day is over. And it's like before I know it, it's 4 o'clock and it's pitch black dark out. Yep. Even when I go to the office, it's like hard to continue to have this will to work once it's dark out. It feels like rude and offensive.
I do feel like, you know how there are summer Fridays? There should be summer like 4:30s. When the sun is down, so are we.
Like once the sun is down, like we cannot be working anymore.
No.
It is rude and offensive to everyone.
My little brain doesn't want to.
No, we get these beautiful sunsets at the office though, which is nice. I am excited. Like as much of a pain in the ass as it is sometimes to like commute 45 minutes like downtown, it is nice when I'm in the office because there's these like beautiful views and beautiful sunsets and like just being social. Like that is something that I definitely in the new year have to be better at is like kind of figuring out my life here, because I think, as I said to you before we started recording, like I had just gotten so, you know, used to being at home and having my routine there, which I loved. But I think having a car is so different. Like you can literally just walk
really different,
out of your house, go to a coffee shop. Like now it's a little bit more of an ordeal, especially like where I live. Like I think it's a little less like centrally located. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's crazy we're back together recording.
I know.
I feel like it's been a hot second.
I've lost any sense of the passage of time.
I know. It's crazy because we like had a meeting together last week and we were like, there was just like a point where we were seeing each other so much during the week. And
we were
like,
seeing each other like 3 times a week.
Literally.
A lot of the times.
Literally. And now it's like we have to like really schedule it hard because life has just like really changed this last year. I was like thinking about, you know, we're going to reflect on 2023 and I'm like looking at all these like questions and things and I'm like, holy shit, like I feel like so much of my life has like just like kind of changed in a year. Yeah. So I
feel like very little has changed for me. When I was thinking about like, this is kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but we'll circle back around. when I was thinking about the year, like, it's been a really fucking hard year for me. But I feel like most of the times when there's historically been a hard year, like, I make it to the other side and there's like something to kind of show for it.
Yeah.
Like, the comparison I was going to make was like senior year with like of high school, like auditioning for college was really intense and really hard.
Yeah.
And like a lot of tears, a lot of whatever. But like at the end of the day, like, got into college, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
This year has been really, really, really fucking hard. And at the end of the year, I don't really have anything to fucking show for it.
I understand where you're coming from with that. I feel like this is the first year in a long time that I, quote unquote, have something to show for.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I went through, something similar to you, and I had to like rebuild for a long time. And I think also post grad, like kind of doing sort of career changes and trying to figure it out. It was like, it took time to get momentum and like build these things. And now this year, I think was like the first time where things were kind of showing for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping 2024 is going to be a better year. This one, a lot of great things. And I would say, like, there were a lot of great moments this year.
Yeah, we should do our peak in the pit. That was like one thing people wanted to know, was like our best and worst time of this year.
I mean, my worst part, my grandmother died. I'm really emo about it last night. So yesterday,
Aww.
literally at the end of work, so I was seeing someone's hands for something that I do at work. And their hands just reminded me a lot of my grandmother. And I literally had to like go in the back and I started crying. And then I pulled it together for my last like 15 minutes of work. And then I went home and just sobbed.
Yeah.
Because I like still can't believe she's here. To anyone who's lost anyone this year, I'm so sorry. It sucks. Grief is the worst. I literally just like full sobbed on the subway ride home.
Yeah.
Grief sucks. Losing people sucks super hard.
It does. It never gets easier.
No.
It doesn't. I was talking about my cousin the other day, like with my brothers, and just like, how it changed our family. And he's, passed away 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So grief is such a weird journey.
And we're still in that like first year. So like this is going to be, it was our first Thanksgiving without her.
Yes.
And like this will be our first Christmas without her. And like my mom and my grandmother, I don't think ever spent a single Christmas apart, except for 1 year because of COVID.
Yeah.
And like the year before we had quarantined and not everything, but my mom got COVID, so we literally couldn't be with her. But I like still really can't believe she's not fucking gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like it's just so weird that someone is just suddenly gone.
I know. And I think, like you said, the first year is the hardest because it's like all of these firsts. And I think like the family itself is trying to understand like the new dynamic. And then it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's funny. I was saying like, I feel like we've sort of, come to a place now with Colin and like that's challenging in itself. And then now there's like some other family drama that's going on, and I'm like, guys, can we please figure this shit out? Like, I just like want to have a normal family holiday, but I think that's hard to ask for any family. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like every family has something going on during the holidays that is just like, unless you don't, let us know because you're special. Like, I just feel like every family has something, like something underlying.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't need to be like at the table, but it's definitely like somebody
at the table, the dog begging for scraps.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm very sorry for your loss always. I know it's so challenging.
It's just impressive how like still fucking gets you. Like I think about it and I
100%.
immediately start crying.
No, same. Like Olivia and I will talk about Colin and like I'll cry like immediately. Like it's just hard. And I think it's also because like I don't think I have fully like processed that, trauma and death. And like that's something I probably need to do in 2024 or 2025, any 2020s. And so it's hard because I think it's just like, and right now I feel like it's a wound, open wound.
Absolutely. I have begun crying.
That's okay.
As an update, if you don't watch the video, it is okay. Crying is important.
Yeah.
But it's like, it literally, like it, I think in a couple weeks, it's going to be really funny to me how literally like just looking at a stranger's hands, I then like literally had to go to the back and just start crying.
Yeah.
Like funny.
It's emotional.
It is.
It's emotional. And like, you know, everything when that person, like when you realize that they're not here and like you're reminded of them, it's just like painful.
Fucking sucks, my dudes.
Yeah. Well, that was your pit. What was your peak?
Ooh, can we come back around to me? I need
Yes.
a moment.
We're processing, guys. We're processing. I'm pushing it along.
Go.
What was my pit this year? Oh shit, I had written it down and now my Notion, of course, is like not loading. I'm trying to think. I remember my peaks. Maybe I'll do my peaks.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back to the pit because I was trying to remember what it was. I feel like I have 2 peaks this year. So my first peak is, if you guys remember, at the beginning of 2023, I was not in my relationship. I was not in my relationship. You know, Olivia and I had went through a really couple of hard months at the end of 2022, and I did not know how to handle my feelings. And so I was like, let's just break up. And then we decided to get back together at the end of January, at the beginning of this year. And I'm just really proud of us for all the work that we've done on our relationship this year. Like, I think you know, something else that we had put down in this notes is like, what is like any like transformational moments this year, or like defining moments. And I feel like a defining moment for me this year, and something I want to continue working on in the new year, is like communication with people. I think I really learned this year that like I will lose people and lose out if I do not tell people the way that I feel, even though it scares me to death. So I think like learning to communicate with Olivia, learning to trust them and trust that like they're not going to get mad at me for the way that I feel, was like a really big moment for me. And I'm just like really proud of us and all the like, you know, how far we've come in the last year, because like now it's like we reap the benefits of it all, and like I love them and I'm happy. So that was definitely a peak. And then another peak is like my job. I really love my job, and it's just like kind of crazy how it all came about, because at the beginning of 2024, like I would have, you know, I didn't know like what was going to happen, because I was like in an internship. It was just like, okay, it wasn't amazing. I was looking for something more. And then, you know, my friend brought this opportunity to me, and like I didn't even know that I was going to like be put on the coach team and have this opportunity. And like, it's just been so much fun and so different, like, and to express like this new creative side to me. And so, yeah, I'm really enjoying my job, and it feels nice to like enjoy it, even though like sometimes working does suck.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can still like what you do.
There
but
is
like,
no dream job. I do not dream of labor.
I do not dream of labor.
No.
Yeah. So those are my 2 peaks for this year.
I'd say one of them for me being in the New York Times.
Yes,
Yeah.
holy fucking shit, that happened this year.
I know. I still kind of can't believe that.
Wow. Yeah, that was a really cool moment for us.
And I'd say another one is like both like less, I'd say a peak, more of like a pivot.
A pivot.
A pivot is like realizing that I want to do theater again. Absolutely fucking terrifying, and also just overwhelming completely.
No, it's terrifying.
But like another peak, wanting to live again. Look, it's weird to reflect on a year where you spent like most of the year pretty suicidal and depressed.
Yeah.
So that's a big win. Not wanting to die, like for reals.
No, for reals. For reals. I feel like
huge fucking win.
Yeah, depression is just so.
And it's weird and very uncomfortable to talk about and admit to other people, like especially to people that you're close with and like who like mean the world to you, to be like, yeah, I love you, but I really didn't want to stick around this place for like a pretty long time. And that feels really mean and uncomfortable to fucking say.
Yeah. I think like it's been great to see you, you know, come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like, you know, makes me happy as your friend and somebody that loves you, is like, you know, especially in the last like couple months, like seeing you, you know, kind of pick yourself up and like move towards, you know, whatever you want, you know.
Oh God, there's gonna be a lot of crying this episode for me. I wasn't anticipating that.
That's okay.
God.
Guys, a safe space.
It's been a fucking year, my dudes.
It is. It has been. And I know where you've been and where you've come. You know, I think it's really, really hard to pick yourself up and start, you know, slowly trying to build a life for yourself. Like I feel like it's taking like thinking back to like when it happened to me, like I feel like it took me so long to finally feel like I could like stand on my 2 feet again. So like knowing that you're like starting that process for yourself, and like, you know, you're doing your hot girl habits, and like, you know, and whether that's happening every day, like you're still doing things. And like, I think that's like amazing, you know, and like that's what you should be proud of yourself, is that like even on the days where it's hard, like you're getting up and you're doing your best, and like, and that's all you can ask for. And that's something that I try and like hold myself to, is like, you know, like this morning I really didn't want to fucking get up, like anxiety, like I was like fuck, and then like I took a shower and I was like, you know what, like I can fucking do this, like it's gonna be okay. Like, is it gonna be the best day of my life? Probably not. Like, I'm gonna be tired, but you know what, like we're gonna get through it, and like it's gonna be okay, you know. But it can be hard. Like I literally said that in our email to Erica this morning. I was like, I'm taking it day by day, task by task.
Literally. It's so funny to me because like, so like as far as like the day by day thing, like I have everything in my calendar, but like when people at work are like, my like coworkers are like, oh, are you gonna, when are you next here? Or like, are you here X day? I like don't know. I don't like, I probably know tomorrow, or if there's like anything big, like I know like, oh, X person's coming on X day, but I don't know what's going on like in my own life. I have it all in calendar, but I don't know it in my head.
That's okay.
And it's impressive to me that people do know in their head. They'll have the whole thing in their head, and no.
I think because I have to live by my calendar because of like work and stuff like that. So like, but it's funny because I don't like to mix my like personal and my work calendar. Like my work calendar is on Google, and my partner was like, oh, like, why don't you just like mix it all I was like, this is too much. No. Like, I don't like this. I don't like this. But something I have started doing, which is like a little bit off topic, but maybe this could help somebody else, is like, I know, like, for example, this week is like really busy for me. There's just like a lot of work things, a lot of personal things. It's the holidays. It's just that time of year. And something that like really happens to me when I see all of these things on my calendar is I start to freak the fuck up here. I'm like, oh my God, like, am I going to have time to rest? Am I going to be okay? Like, am I going to burn out? Like all these things. And so now I've decided, like with my therapist, like we kind of work this out together, to start like marking in the times in my calendar where it's like, oh, I have like 2 hours of chill free time here, or like, oh, all day Saturday, like chill free time, you know, just so like my brain can start recognizing that even through the chaos and a lot of things going on, there is time to like decompress. So I don't know. I if you get overwhelmed easily, like I know I do. So that's like my new little thing. That has nothing to do with the new year, but
that's okay. I'm trying to think of if anything of note happened this past.
What are you done with your peaks, roses,
buds, thorns?
Oh wait, let me do my pit. Oh yes, this was my pit. My pit is definitely like stuff with my physical. Like I feel like this year was a really hard I feel like this was a really hard body year for me. Like, you know, I gained a lot of weight. I've been really struggling. If you guys see, I don't have makeup on. I've been really struggling with like cystic acne, and just like my skin is freaking out. I feel like I, you know, sprained my ankle a couple months ago. Like, I just feel like there's so many physical like ailments going on in my life right now. And I just like haven't maybe been like treating my body the best this year. And so that's definitely something that I'm thinking of in 2024. Like, I don't know. I kind of like how Olivia had explained it last night, was talking about like themes for the year or seasons, because sometimes I think the whole like year long goal thing can be like too much. But definitely something I want to focus on in 2024. Not sure like my action plan yet, but I just feel like there's a lot of like physical things that I'm like not happy with.
Yeah, I got in a good rhythm of like going to the gym and doing like the stuff that like helps your brain and your body and whatnot. And the holidays just fuck up all your routines. I think especially when like I work a very non-traditional job, so like my schedule's especially just kind of fucked with the holidays.
Yeah.
But it's hard to take care of yourself.
No, it is. It is. Like the people that like get up and go to the gym, or like after a long day, like I envy those people sometimes. Like I wish that I could be one of those people that just like wanted that, like got that high or whatever that like nice feeling is.
I find like the hardest part is, my sister and I were talking about this last time because we went to the gym. I almost didn't go because my knee has been being a little funky. But we were talking about how like the hardest part of the gym is getting yourself to go, because like I never have gone and regretted going. Like I almost always feel better afterwards. Yeah. And yet I don't go. Uh,
No, it's 100% getting yourself there, whether it's to the gym, to the class, like outside for the walk. Like it totally is the like,
it's hard to get momentum.
yeah.
Beating inertia. Is inertia the word I'm looking for?
think
Let me know if
so.
that's the right word.
I think inertia, right? Because like an object in motion stays in motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An object at rest stays in rest unless pressed upon by another force. Maybe I'm making that up.
Physics.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I took any sort of academic classes.
Literally same.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely hard. I don't know. I've never been like a person that loves like physical activity either. So
I find most shit, like I always loved dance because dance is interesting. I
Yeah.
get bored with a lot of stuff. I always liked working out with other people. Like in high school for 2 years, I had this workout group that the reason was only for 2 years is because they were all upperclassmen that I worked out with like every night, and I
Oh,
loved
that's
it. It was
nice.
fantastic. Admittedly, the first time I worked out with them, I was a freshman and I wasn't really in shape. I literally vomited in my mouth when we were doing something, and I just swallowed it back down because I was not going to admit that. Because it was a bunch of juniors and then a couple sophomores, and I was a freshman.
Yeah,
and
so
I
it's
literally
like-
I swallowed it back down.
not gonna vomit in
It
front
was
of
horrible.
you. The amount of times that I needed to vomit, like not freshman, senior year during Deb Leamy's class, like because I was the most out of shape. We had those damn masks on. I was like, I'm gonna vom.
No, I kept wildly overheating. I
Yeah.
multiple times in our class would be like, I have to go sit down because my body cannot regulate temperature well enough for this.
Yeah, no, I was like multiple times went to the bathroom, was like literally about to puke, and I like held it down too because I felt embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, like, am I so out of shape? Like, am I so like this that I have to vomit?
Yep.
Like from dancing? Like what?
But
yeah.
But I've managed to somewhat get into running, which is kind of
Oh,
I mean, not really. I'm very bad at it.
That's okay.
But I'll have split seconds here and there where I kind of like it, and I've kind of gotten on like some of running talk.
Oh.
The one thing is like running's terrible for your knees, and I already have terrible knees, and dance is also bad for your knees. Everything I do bad for your knees. I already have shit knees. I've already emotionally accepted like I'm gonna have to get a double knee replacement someday. Just hopefully not for a while. But because I've also one of the people, I'm totally blanking on her name. I think her first name is Kate, maybe something
oh my
with
God,
a G.
the girl that goes, hey, if you do this, like I'll buy you this if you run with me.
Maybe I've not seen those videos.
Oh,
but
okay,
maybe.
that's a different Kate.
It could be the same Kate. I don't know. But she like takes an edible before running, and I've started doing that,
Oh my God.
and like that definitely does help. And I would say stretching while like a little bit, because I'll take like a pretty low dose.
Yeah.
But stretching like at the end, like with the mix of like a slight maybe runner's high and a slight like edible high, stretching, like I can stretch for ages. It's fantastic.
You're like, I am loose as a goose.
Not even being loose. It's more so like I'm like
Just like
willing to
happy.
stay in the position and get the stretch for longer, whereas I think I'd normally get very impatient and just want to move on.
Sure. Okay.
And I'm just like willing to just like hang.
Wow, what an interesting thing. Low dose edibles for running.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I saw her, and then I've stumbled across quite a few people. So like she did the New York Marathon recently, and she did it stoned.
Weed is going to save the world, you guys. That is that is like what I figured out at the end of 2023 is that weed is going to save the world, I think.
Another peak is that so my brother and his husband moved up to Massachusetts this fall / late summer, I guess. And he's quite a bit older than me. He's like, oh God, like a decade older than me, something like that, roughly a decade older than me. And we haven't spent much time together since like I was a really young kid. Like he's lived in Texas for a while, and before that was in San Francisco, I think.
Cool.
So we just like haven't really had the opportunity to be close. And we started spending more time together pre-pandemic, but then pandemic hit and he was in Texas.
Sure.
And so it's really exciting that they live in the town next to my parents, and like we now do like holidays with them, and I'm really excited about like that relationship and like getting to spend more time with them. So I've had a really fun time. I'm quite chuffed with the Christmas presents I've picked out for them. So I hope they like them.
Guys, I need to buy my Christmas presents. Olivia was like, Olivia and I this weekend are going to like the tree. We've never done that before because of like the pandemic, and then last year our little break. And then so they were like, oh, like, can I give you your Christmas present? Like, I'm excited. I was like, oh my God, fuck, I need to order your Christmas present. Like, what are you talking about?
I almost have everyone done you and Julia, I have what I'm going to get you picked, but I haven't bought it yet.
Oh my God.
I need to
guys.
pick something for my oldest sister. I don't know what to get my brother-in-law. He's a 50-something-year-old Serbian man. I don't know what to get. What do you buy brother-in-laws? And then I haven't picked out something for one of my sisters, but everyone else
Wow.
I have done. Oh, and I haven't picked out something for my dad, but he just might not be getting a gift. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel that. My dad literally my dad loves experiences. And so last year I brought him to that mini golf place, the swingers place. And I was going to do the same thing this year, but he recently had to get surgery on his shoulder. So he can't do that. So I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do?
Last year I gave him that we would go and see a Red Sox versus Yankees game together.
Oh, nice.
But then he went, I don't want whatever shit tickets you're going to buy. I'll deal with it. And then he never did. So we haven't done it. So I'm either probably going to re-give him that or just nothing.
I know dads are hard sometimes to buy for.
We've asked him for multiple years what he wants, and all he'll say is a bigger boat. And I'm like, well, I really fucking can't help with that, my dude. I don't know what to tell. I can give you $20 towards that.
Here's a 20. Hope it gets
far. Literally. What do you want from me, my dude? What do you want from
funny,
me?
a bigger bow. LOL. I'm dying.
Yeah. And he didn't. What's really funny is they actually now are getting a bigger boat.
Right.
And when they were talking about what should they name it, someone joked, you should name it a bigger boat. And we all laughed, except for him. He didn't get the joke. He was like, what are you guys talking about? And we're like, because all of you've said in the last 5 years is a bigger boat. A bigger boat. A bigger boat. We're back and we're going to dive into our reflection on 2023.
Ooh. Haven't we been reflecting this entire time?
We have,
Yeah.
but
reflection.
You know,
I know. I
whatever.
finally got my notion up, you guys. So on being prepared. What are some Clueless clear ups that you have this year?
Well, I didn't really learn how to clean the filter of a dishwasher, but I did learn just ask your landlord to do it.
Yeah. The thing I wrote down was taxes and knowing that you need to get I need to get started yesterday, starting figuring out taxes because it just happens so fast.
It does.
And I need a new accountant this year. Hit me up. So I need to start figuring that out, but definitely just realizing what the process was because I'd never really done it before because my parents had claimed me until this point. So figuring that all out. Also, I guess this is kind of a Clueless clear up, but when we started this podcast, I never knew when I was going to move to the city and all that stuff. And now we're sitting in my apartment. So I guess that's a little bit of a clear up.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
A clear up for me is
Uh-oh. What is happening?
guys, my brain feels melty. I can't believe I have work after this.
I
It's gonna
know.
go so poorly.
I know, for 6 hours. And Audrey works in a really crazy part of town right now. I just I do not envy you.
I'm just convinced I'm gonna start crying again.
Oh.
Let's hope they just send me home.
You ever see that where it's the person is just a mess and they're just oh, sweetie, go home.
Yeah.
Sweetie.
A Clueless clear up for me has been God, I don't know. I can't think. My brain
That's
is
okay.
bad.
Do you want to look at our goals that we wrote last year?
Yeah, let's
do that. Okay.
Guys, I'm gonna be a mess this episode, and I need everyone to forgive me for that.
That's okay. If you guys listen to our podcast around this time last year, in the new year, we came up with our 2023 goals and we talked about them on the podcast. And we were let's look. I haven't looked at them, you guys. And this is the issue with a long fucking list of goals.
Okay. I do think that some of the things I did about making my goals different this year were smart.
Okay.
Did they 100% work? No. I had it in a note, which I had pinned.
Yes. Do you feel that was helpful having it?
Just right there as sort of a reminder. I named it things I want to do in 2023. I mean, so I still didn't do most of them. Let's see. Will you hold this for a moment?
Yeah. Oh, you got it. Oh.
If you can see on my little list, I don't know how well I'm scrolling if you're watching on YouTube. I didn't check off most things. But I did some.
What'd you do?
I didn't bake a loaf of bread, but I baked rolls.
Okay. That's bread.
I traveled somewhere new with friends. I went to Nashville to see my friend Zan and her show.
Yes.
item of clothing. I made dress for a photo shoot.
Yes, the iconic yellow dress. I was gonna say red. Wrong.
I didn't learn how to do a 90s blowout, which was one of the things. I haven't gotten a piercing, but I'm getting piercings with my sister this week.
Ooh, what kind of piercings?
We're both getting our thirds.
Ooh.
Well, she's getting 1/3 because she only has piercings on one ear.
Okay.
Which my mom did ask her one time. She was like, did you do that because you're gay? And she was like, well, I did it because I like it. Do I like it probably because I'm gay? Maybe. I hosted one dinner party.
Yes, dinner party.
I've seen some shows. One of my goals is to go on one date a month, and I succeeded on that in the month of January and no other months.
You know what? It's okay. It wasn't a dating kind of year.
At least one creative project a month I did in one of the months.
Okay.
I read a bunch of books, which was one of my goals.
Okay, that's good.
For the pod, it was to be invited onto 5 podcasts, which I think we definitely did.
Yeah.
For work, my goal was to act in something, anything. Didn't succeed in that. Whoopty daisy.
Whoopty daisy.
Whoopsie daisy. And another one that I didn't do was find a job that I like. I don't dislike my job. I don't love it. But yeah, I had a goal to do like one home improvement of like reorganization, whatnot per month.
Yeah.
Didn't do that at all.
You know, I feel that. I feel you. My goals, you guys, this next year, I got to stop being so like, this year I want to be a butterfly and like, you know, like all that gooky, corny ass shit. Like I got to stop doing that this year. I also think this year, because at the end of 2023, I started doing this like a little bit, but I feel like in 2024, I really want to actually give it a shot, is like, instead of, like we said, doing these like big lanky goals, is like kind of just like focusing on a month or like 2 months and a small amount of time, and then reflect, because I feel like,
because I think with viewing as big, like the time goes by really quick and you don't even notice. Like there's so many times where I'm like, oh, next week, and then like the weeks keep happening, and before I know it, it's been 4 months.
Right. And we usually check in halfway through, but like still, like that's like still 6 months. But something that we did do is, it says buy the damn camera and film CFC. Hey. So we've been doing that, which I'm very like happy about. Let's see. Okay. Build a relationship with myself was like my number one.
I remember that.
I don't know if I really did that. Like, I have to be honest. I don't know. I guess that like wasn't really like the like it didn't end up being like the focus. So that's maybe something I still want to focus on. I don't know. I need to analyze my relationship with myself for sure. So we're going to come back to that. Yeah, I think like building the trust and staying consistent was something that we both talked about a lot. And the thing is like, I think there's been times this year where, like, for example, like the podcast has been like a higher priority and lower priority, because I think things need to shift around. But something I am continually so proud of us for doing is always like doing an episode.
Yes.
Like I think kind of like the object in motion stays in motion. It may not be our best episode. It may have its kinks. Like last week, I was really disappointed that the stupid fucking video wasn't working, because we had just like sat down and reanalyzed everything. And I was like, great, like this is going to be amazing.
And then like to have the first week like flop.
And then it flopped and it disappointed me so much. And then I started like judging myself and whatever. But like, you know, like I think something that makes me happy and something I like always remind myself is like, think about like the amount of people that just kind of like stop doing it and stop recording and whatever. Like I think we still show up, we give it what we have that day, and like, you know, that's like enough for me.
I might have already said this on the podcast, but my psychiatrist said like the one thing that made him really concerned was when I told him that like I had like been like, Sarah, I can't record, like I need you to do it was like an interview.
It was an interview. Yeah.
It was like I can't do it. And
Yeah.
my psychiatrist was like, that made me really concerned about you. And I was like, that is serious, but like funny.
Yeah.
That is funny. Like,
yeah. It stayed consistent. And so I think that's like something that I'm really proud of us for. Like, especially you two, like during the tough times, like you really still like showed up and gave it your best, you know, effort. And that's all you can ask for.
And I would like to add for the record, during all those months, Sarah picked up a ton of slack. Sarah did a lot of the work.
Love you.
I mean, like she's always doing a lot of the work, but she had to do a lot of the work during that time because I was not all there.
That's okay. And now, like, you know, we're flip-flopping. Like, I feel like right now, like, I'm in this time in my life where I'm trying to, like, figure out what the fuck, like, how to manage and build things. And, like, we sat down and we talked about it and, like, you know, continuing to reanalyze, like, because life is always going to change. And, you know, and that's, like, the nice thing about, like, having a partner in this all is, like, you can go back and forth and like have each other and help each other and like, you know, and I think we've been really good at like realizing like, hey, like this past like fall has been really kind of hectic for the both of us, and like we're doing our best, we're showing up, we're trying new things, and like that's all we can ask for.
I would say having a podcast is fantastic for like forces you to like check in with yourself on some level on like a weekly basis.
Literally.
Which, like, I think is really hard to make time for yourself to do.
Yeah.
But like it's good to do a rough check on of like, how are we feeling? What are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah, so
but-
that was that one. I'm trying to, guys, I literally just like wrote so many like crazy ass shit. Spend more time with my friends in a non-drinking setting. A few things that rejuvenate me besides laying in bed. I love laying in bed.
Ooh, I'm taking back up knitting if you'd like to join me.
Ooh, you know who loves like stuff like that? Olivia does like needle felting. Loves a good needle felt. But yes, I definitely need some like hobbies. As my partner is always telling me, like my hobby should not be like being on my phone. Yeah, a lot of these goals are just like so silly, guys. Be bold, put myself out there, and take chances.
I do think I want to strike more of a balance with this next year, but I do think I liked having a lot of mine be like literal tallyable things.
Right. I think like that's what I wish too, because like now you can go back and you're like, oh, like I did this and did that and did that. I want to be able to do that more.
And some of them were like relatively small things that like I've just wanted to do. Like I've wanted to bake bread since the pandemic first began, and I for some reason didn't do it. It's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think having tangible things on the list, but I do think that I could use some more of the less tangible ones as well.
Sure. Yeah. I think like a good mixture of both, because I think like kind of like the themes that you're looking to like capture in the new year. Excuse me, guys, water. Like those themes are important. And then like the tangible things that maybe are related to those things, or even just like you said, I want to make bread this year.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it helps like your brain. I forget. It's like a DBT, CBT therapy thing, like the accomplishment of like checking something off.
Yes.
That's why I've been loving my to-do list lately.
That's the thing.
I'm
like,
obsessed with her.
give yourself a couple easies.
Yeah.
It's okay. Give yourself some easy ones that you can knock off pretty easy. Like,
right, because I feel like I knew that we were gonna get a camera and like film
Yes.
CFC, but like now,
but like it builds trust
yes,
in yourself. And
I'm like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Purr. Do we feel less clueless? That's my favorite question.
No, my dude, I do not.
My favorite question. Do we
I might feel more.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because like my dad said this about the podcast, like when we first started it, was like, it's really cool how you have this like theme of uncertainty, because truly
Never fucking ends, baby
it
girl.
will never end. You will continuously walk through your life feeling uncertain. As your life changes, new things are going to be uncertain, like all of this shit. So I think that's like kind of what's cool, because now like
And like life would be super fucking boring if there wasn't uncertainty.
Right.
But boy, is it anxiety provoking as well.
100%. Like I feel like something that I'm feeling like clueless about now in at the end of 2023, and the life I've gonna built this year is like finances and trying to learn how to budget. That's something that I know I really need to take on in 2024, is like learning to use my money a lot more wisely now that like I really gotta, you know, pay rent, all that shit. So I think that is, you know, something I'm feeling a lot more clueless about these days.
I'm just feeling clueless on, I feel like everything, but I feel like that's been unchanged. Guys, I've shown no character development since this podcast started. I still don't really know what I'm doing. I'm terrified about whether or not theater's gonna fucking work. What else am I clueless on?
Have you gone to any auditions lately?
I have gone to some, but not a ton. I have a lot scheduled for next week. There aren't really many this week, which actually works out well because I have family here this week. My lease is going to be up this summer.
I know, that's crazy. Like June 1st, right?
Yeah.
Is it June 1st?
And I don't really know where I'm going to go from there.
A lot of change this year then in the new year.
Yes.
Damn.
And yeah,
Change is scary.
yeah.
Change is terrifying.
Guys, I'm sorry. I can't speak today.
That's okay. That's okay. You know what? And that's on the year being exhausting.
Yeah, this year was just really hard. It was really hard, and I spent a lot of it doing nothing. I spent a lot of money on DoorDash and Uber Eats. I literally, if I would not want to know the number, it is way too high. I'm feeling like I'm being very pessimistic. Not pessimistic.
Okay, so
but I feel like I'm being really negative when the thing that because I'm tired and in a kind of cranky mood, but the thing that I do want to focus on is I reached out to people. I was supported by friends and family. It took time and it sucked and it was hard. And there was a lot of moments where I was I don't know how I'm going to do this for another 20, 10, 5 single year. I don't know how I can continue going on this way. And I feel a lot better. Am I perfect? No. Do I still have hard moments? Yes. Is it the fact that the days are so short really fucking hard? Yes. But I do very much feel to a certain level I'm on another sort of the other side of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do think that there is kind of I think I spoke about this on the last episode, this sort of weird boldness that comes with hey, so I really didn't want to live for quite a while, whatever, that's not gonna hurt me. There's a weird freeness of life is a little silly. We're on a rock violently spinning through space, and I really didn't want to live for a while. So I might as well just go do that thing.
Yeah, 100%. Show up, do it. Kind of be bold. As corny as that is, I think putting yourself out there is something to be proud of.
And reach out to people.
Yeah.
Your people will support you. And it feels absolutely terrifying and it's hard, but I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't be feeling better if I didn't get on medication and didn't have fucking support from the people around me and didn't be honest with them about it. And I wasn't the best at communicating while going through it, but it would have been even more infuriating had I tried to completely hide it. If you're struggling, ask for fucking help.
Yeah.
Because it'll help. The help will help.
No, the help will help. 100%. Yeah, I feel this year was a big year of learning communication things, which is something I guess 2020 January 2023 Sarah would be proud of.
Yes.
It's just that, learning to be more open, still working on it, still tough, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I'm not always the best, but still working on it, still pushing through it, and trying to figure out ways to be a more open communicator with everybody in my life, but yeah, I can't believe this year is
done.
Weird. It felt long but also short.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, because I think I just reached the 6-month mark at my new job, and so it's I feel these last 6 months have been very nice and positive and whatever, but the first 6 months of this year I'm oh, interesting.
Yeah, the first 6 months of this year were bad.
Yeah, they just feel so separate in a way. So
yeah.
It's interesting. But yeah, looking forward to Christmas.
I'm looking forward to Christmas. I'm looking forward to the time with my family.
Me too.
And I'm looking forward to a new year. Because this one, honestly, for me, sucked. It sucked balls, baby girl. It sucked balls.
I'm just excited for after December 2020, not 2023, December 23rd, when the days start getting longer, because that's the shortest day of the year.
I just need more sunlight.
No, girl, me too.
I'm in such a grumpy mood this week. I'm sorry, everyone, that I'm in a really grumpy mood.
That's okay. We all have our grumpy days and grumpy moods. Grumpsters. Well, I hope this was a great reflection for 2023.
How are y'all feeling about 2023?
I know, you guys gotta let us know your peak and pit, because I feel that was the thing that we were asked about the most was what was your highest and lowest this year?
Oh yes, some more lows is the world's pretty on fire. There's a horrible genocide happening in Palestine, and that's very bad, and the fact that our government money is going towards funding that is pretty fucking terrible.
Yeah, the world is on fire. The world is on fire. Okay, this is like kind of weird to shift from the world being on fire, but somebody asked us, how has having a podcast helped you this year?
Having something to show up to, and something to like, again, I've said this a lot, but something to care about. Like having something to care about is very important, and like this is really important to us.
Especially having something to care about outside of work.
Yes.
Like I think that the hard thing, at least with me with theater toward like the end of when I was like taking this like break, whatever I'm doing, was that it felt like that is all that I had. That was all of me. And so I had nothing else to base any sort of accomplishments on. And now I feel like I've set up my life a little bit differently, where it's like I'm working and then the podcast, and I like to do my own little silly videos on TikTok. And so now I get to have these multiple forms of, you know, accomplishments. So like when one thing is, you know, been harder, like I can look at the other thing and like, you know, I think that's been nice. Yeah, I feel like the same thing.
I fucking love this podcast. This podcast means the fucking world to us. Like genuinely
love it. Like
and getting to like connect and meet so many fucking people. Like I really like, I think even more so than you, like my world really was theater and I didn't know anyone outside of that. And I've gotten to meet so many fucking people.
Yeah. You know, I was, saw this clip on TikTok about like how podcasting is like the best networking scheme. And it truly is, like getting to meet like some of the people that we've met this year. Like we talked to Meg J. Like what?
Do I remember that conversation? No, I've blacked out those entire 6 months, but I have video proof that we did it.
Yes, you were there. You were physically there. Yeah. And just like getting to meet people, like that's what I love about this podcast too, is like we just get to talk to some really fucking cool people,
and we get to like talk to like you guys, the audience.
Like I love when we get to like DM back and forth about things, and like, you know, you guys tell us your reactions, or you tell us that like this has made your day, and like it makes our day to hear that
literally
like,
every single time. Like anytime someone messages, I almost always reply, "This made my day," because genuinely every single time it does.
I think I do. Every single time somebody's like says something nice about the podcast, I'm like, this made my day. Like you've no idea, because like we do put a lot of effort and time and work and extra time into it.
We like see numbers and everything, but like that doesn't really feel as real when you're looking at like numbers of like listenership or whatever. Like it feels really tangible when like a person reach out and tells you like, this made me like laugh, and like that's like just like still like that will never stop being unreal to me, that there are like strangers who like find some joy or something from
what we
our
do.
little random nonsense stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good one to end on. Thanks for asking that, people. People. Wait, oh shit, my brain just went complete. Oh, you know what's going to happen in 2024 though, you guys? We're going to reach 100 episodes. So that'll be a cool celebration. Obviously, like season 3 will happen in March. And yeah, hopefully some other cool shit.
Only time will tell, baby girl.
Only time will tell.
I'm back saying baby girl a lot.
I know. You did go through a baby girl phase this year.
I did.
You were like, baby girl. Anyways, you guys, we hope that you've had an amazing 2023. I know we've all had our highs and lows, but you know, don't forget to celebrate all the things that you did do this year.
You have done plenty of things. I'm 100% a million, even if you feel like you haven't, because I absolutely feel like I haven't. And in this episode, I've spoken like I haven't. I like went through my camera roll. You've done shit. I promise you.
Go through the camera roll, like see all the fun memories. Honestly, like you got out of bed, like, and went through your day. Like that's enough.
You kept living.
Literally, like you kept the ball going. An object in motion, stage in motion, period. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all of the support with the podcast this year. We seriously like cannot thank you enough. It makes us so happy to do this and so happy to talk to you guys, like we've said.
Thank you for sitting with all of the technical issues that we're having in the beginning of this year, which mostly were just, hey, I didn't edit the podcast and we're going to be late posting it.
Yes.
A lot of times when it's technical issues, the technical issue is my brain.
Well, last week
last week wasn't.
Was
Sometimes
a real
is
one.
it not? You have no way of knowing. Sorry.
But yes, have an amazing rest of your 2023. We will still have an episode next week for you guys. We're doing an interview, and then we will not have an episode on the 26th, but then we'll be back for the new year.
Yep.
On January 2nd. Period. Slay. Love you guys. Have an amazing Tuesday. Oh, wait. You can follow us on Instagram at Completely Fucking Clueless.
And on TikTok and YouTube at Completely FCKING Clueless. Let me try that one more time. And on TikTok and YouTube at Completely FCKING Clueless.
Period. Please rate, review, and subscribe.
Like, send to your friends.
Send to an enemy.
Ooh. Send to a lover.
Ooh, spicy. You could send one of the sex episodes. We love you guys. Have an amazing Tuesday. And don't forget to be a motherfucking Clueless.
Hey!
Merry Christmas. Happy
Happy
Hanukkah.
Happy New
Kwanzaa.
Year. Happy end of this year.
This has been a 58 Ember production. For more shows, please visit the 58 Ember channel, 58ember.com, or find us at 58 Ember Media on socials.